Good evening, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Charles. Welcome to Build Your Best Life with Coach Deborah D. Smith. And I have here our special guest, Miss Nikki Jackson. Nikki, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. You are tuning in to everyone. Let me say to everyone, you're tuning in to Blueprint for Success on this Tuesday night, and we appreciate each and every one of you who are tuned in. Please give us a shout out in the chat. Let us know that you're here with us, and we love the interaction in the chat as well. So make sure you give this a thumbs up if you're on YouTube and or on Facebook, and share with someone, share with your family and friends to tune in for our topic for Blueprint for Success. I am filling in for Coach Deborah tonight. I have the honor to fill in. You guys, please lift her up in prayer. She's a little bit under the weather, but I spoke to her earlier and she is starting to have a turnaround. So we're going to thank God for that. We're going to thank God. So tonight's topic for Blueprint for Success is Blueprint for Proactivity. Blueprint for Proactivity. And Miss Nikki Jackson has a lot to share with you guys about that. But before we go into that, Nikki, tell the people a little more about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nikki Jackson. I'm the founder and executive director of a nonprofit, Just a Queen with Goals, empowering women. We're located in Arlington, Texas. And what we like to do is we like to have the uncomfortable conversations, right? Talking about mental health awareness, financial literacy, and healing from trauma, because we've all been through trauma and trauma, right? And so we have a holistic way of bringing the family together, doing community events and educational workshops, and then also by providing their essential needs through the community closet, which they can come get diaper, wipes, hygiene products, clothes, and shoes, plus the resources, right?
Mhm.
um, I'm a mother of 5 children, 3 grandchildren. I am originally from Chicago, but relocated to Texas 8 years ago from Minnesota.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love the name of your organization, Just a Queen with Goals. I was telling you earlier, we need more women like that to be goal oriented and to support one another. We were sharing how important it is to connect and stay connected with those who are like minded. And I love the name of this organization and what you're saying that you're about. I hear you
Thank
say
you.
mental health as well as financial literacy, and as well as some emotional trauma. We can all relate to those three areas and areas that we need to improve and need some help and network with others like that. So I love that about your organization
Thank
already.
you. And it's creating spaces for our youth, right? Because our youth are going through something different, totally different from what my oldest children went through. My oldest is 29 and 31. And so it's a difference between the children nowadays. And so we as adults have to make sure that we're creating these safe places for our youth to have uncomfortable conversations about mental health awareness. They're going through a lot right now.
I totally agree. And you are hitting home speaking to me. I'm a mother of two as well. I have a 20-year-old son and an 18-year-old daughter. And I have seen how mental health has taken a toll on my children of their age. And in return, I have to take care of myself, because if I'm not careful, it can have an effect on me. And in the recent past, it has. And so I had to bring the thing full circle with not just being attentive to what's going on with my children. How am I letting that affect me? You're hitting some you're on the dart with me.
Yeah.
You're hitting
I
it.
say the uncomfortable conversations because, back in the days, everything, what goes on in the household stays in the house, and, children are to be seen and not heard. But our children have a voice too.
They
And
do.
so we advocate, our nonprofit organization, advocates on that to bring awareness to families, and then being transparent. A lot of times we tell our youth not to do this, not to do that, but not kind of giving them what I've kind of went through that same thing. This is what I went through, so just being transparent with them too.
It's important to give them a healthy space to express themselves,
Yes.
because it's going to come up and out one way or another, right?
Yes.
If we are not proactive and help them get that out in a healthy way, it's going to come out negatively, and then you're like, what is going on?
Yes.
And then you have a whole nother set of issues on your hand. And I've experienced that firsthand.
Me
But
too.
working our way through it, you live and you learn. And I thank you for bringing what you have learned to your platform and helping young adults, teenagers, and the parents as well. We
Yes.
need you.
Thank you.
So, Nikki, I want you to tell me, what are your initial thoughts when you hear the phrase proactivity, a special power?
Being aware,
Mhm.
being prepared, but also being able to pivot.
Okay. Pivoting is important because sometimes we can seem very stuck. Can you elaborate more about that, about the pivoting part? We know what it's like to be aware and prepared. You can elaborate on that as well, but touch on pivoting.
What I've learned, especially, I mean, this could go any, business, personal. If it's not working right, so
Mhm.
you're being aware that it's not working, obviously, right? But being able to say it's not working, maybe I need to do this, or maybe you know what I'm saying? It's not, if it's not working, obviously finding out why it's not working, right? Stepping back and saying, because if we're going to keep doing the same things over and over, and you're not seeing the results that you want to see, so now it's time to step back and figure out, why isn't it working? Is this thing for me? You know what I'm saying? Am I supposed to be doing this? Is this what my calling is?
Yes, yes. We have to take inventory. We have to take an inventory and not bury our head in the sand, because it doesn't help anyone when you bury your head in the sand. You're hurting your loved one, and then in the end you're hurting the whole family, because we can be directly impacted. Everyone in the household is directly
Yes.
impacted with this regardless, but it's best to address it so everyone can see how you address and have those difficult conversations. We
Yes.
want to be able to pass on good lessons to our children and our children's children. So we have to start. We have to start with ourselves, with the person in the mirror.
Yes.
Absolutely. So how does being proactive assist one in being less stressed and perhaps minimize strains on one's mental health?
Mm. I guess taking the time, taking that time out of, sometimes you can't be available for everyone, right? I like to tell people sometimes you have to say no. So knowing boundaries, um, getting in tune, like knowing your strength and weaknesses.
Hmm.
Um, and to me, it's all about self awareness, right? It's all about self awareness, and getting in tune with self, right? And then what has God called you to do, right? Are you walking in your purpose? Because a lot of times we plan what we want to do, right? But is that what we're called to do?
Right. We have to, I hear you speaking basically of discernment and listening to the Holy Spirit, because it's going to guide us, and it's going to the term I like to use sometimes, stalkers, is going to stalk you until you get your act together, or you have that conviction, and that's very important. And boundaries. I love when you shared on boundaries, because when it comes to your mental health, in order to take charge, in order to what I've learned in my journey, you do have to set boundaries. You do have to be willing to take time out for yourself and not really be concerned what it looks like to everybody else.
Yes.
And because that in itself can be an added stress to your mental health when you're trying to please everybody, when you're trying to keep up appearances,
Yes.
when you're trying to keep yourself so available. Sometimes that season that you're going through, or when you're at your breaking point, so don't ignore it and do whatever you have to do to fight for yourself. And so I love the fact that you shared on boundaries, because I'm learning to be unapologetic.
Yes.
How about
Yeah. And I tell people, be aware of taking your self-care days off, but not just self-care, your
you?
mental health days off, right?
Hmm.
Being really intentional. I like to tell people, well, if you haven't started, at least take a half a day off. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just, again, about self, right?
Right.
Um, Time management. Not being available all the time. Setting time with your family. Okay, like on a Sunday, I'm not going to be available. Monday through, I try to not. Sometimes it works, and sometimes I'm really intentional on trying not to set up things after 4 o'clock when my children are home. Right, to be intentional with them, and so being intentional with everything you do with your time, with relationships, boundaries.
Yes. Very, very, that's very valuable. And it when you set boundaries, what I've learned, it shows people how to respect you, even when there's something that you haven't had in place in the past. They may have a little issue with you in the beginning,
Yes.
but when most people, they begin to recognize it's not about them. It's what I need to do in my space, in my season right now. And they respect that. The right people, those who matter, they will respect that. And sometimes you come back around and share a little if you feel it's necessary, because
Right.
it's not always necessary to let everybody in on that journey. You know who to let in, and
Yes.
you know who to explain something to and who not. You have to be intentional about your boundaries.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So do you agree or disagree that everyone can learn to be more proactive by developing the necessary skills and mindset?
Yes. And another thing with is attending personal development workshops or courses.
Hmm.
That leadership, some like leadership courses. Again, and professional, personal and professional leadership things, and things like that.
It is important to have that other connection. I was speaking to a girlfriend today, and the journey I'm going through, I'm like, I need to find a support group with other mothers who are experiencing what I'm experiencing.
Yes.
And as far as leadership, that's we both know Coach Ricardo Miller. He's an excellent example of that leadership, someone who is going to give sound teaching and advice and life lessons by being transparent himself through his growth journey and different seasons of his life. Those like Coach Deborah, who does the same to reach out to mothers raising sons, because she's a mom who raised sons. I mean, you never stop being, it seems like you never stop raising them, but they're adults now. But she understands a lot of the journey and the walk that some of us are just now going through.
Right.
So it's good to plug into the right people. There is so much out there on social media. The resources are available.
It is.
When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. All you have to do is plug into the right channels and make sure that you're not um, procrastinating with getting the help that you need, and just stay plugged in.
I tell people sometimes we have to unplug old information to replug new information.
Absolutely. That's just like unlearning. You have to replace the bad habits. You got to replace it with a good habit. So reading self-help materials, putting down the remote control. If you find yourself scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and wasting so much time, replace that with, an autobiography or just pick up a book. It's just
Yes.
so much more that you can do to help yourself. What they call that car university. When you're driving across town, when you're running out of errands, and when you are taking care of everybody else, put it on something that's inspirational, encouraging, and that's going to keep you focused on the things that really matters when it comes to our mental health.
And I
And
like to tell people too, like even on social media, on even Facebook, if you searching like just like you're searching someone's name, if you search whatever support that you're needing or whatever type of information that you want, I was self-taught teaching financial literacy because I plugged into all those financial literacy groups. I went, I purchased some things too, books and stuff like that. But if you go into that search button, anything that you want to find out, there's a million groups in there, right? And people are giving resources and being a support. So I would take advantage of the social media too.
yes, there's really no excuse. The information is there. Um, YouTube is now our new encyclopedia. Anything that you want to research and get information on, it's right there. The search bar is the search engines are our best friends. It's just what are you focused on? Are you being proactive to grow in the areas that you really need that help in?
And I've had to drop another gem.
Yeah.
Holding yourself accountable. So if this is what you want to do, what are you doing to take the necessary steps, right? Because it's not going to come to you. Nobody's going to knock on your door and say, here you go. This is what I've heard. This is what you want, but I don't know if you want it, right? So you have to be intentional on, again, being in those right spaces, right? The right rooms, connecting with other, with like-minded individuals, but also making sure that you're doing exactly what you need to do to get where you want to be. It's up to you.
Yes, hold yourself accountable is very important, along with that, I like to add is to not get distracted, because so much is going on in life that we, you know, uh, something else in your life can take place. You're trying to hold yourself accountable. You're trying to focus on your areas that you need to grow in to be in a better place mentally, to be and to continue to be proactive in achieving those goals. But then here comes life. It'll come slap you upside the head, and if you're not careful, you can so easily get off track.
Right. Yeah.
I have found that, okay, I have to get, all right, this happened, deal with it, shake it off. You still have a mission at hand. You still have things that need to be taken care of. You still need to take care of you so you can be an extension for your children. And it's so easy to get off track.
I call it tunnel vision. Life be life, and right?
Life be life.
Children be children and job be job, and right? But at the end of the day, you know where you want to go. And so I call it tunnel vision. And a lot of times, I'm sorry, unapologetically, right? I am tunnel vision.
Okay, I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get more like you, where I'm just strictly tunnel vision. And we do have to stop and take care of some things, but to not get completely thrown off track.
Okay.
And I feel that strength in me in the area of not being. I'm unapologetic. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I gotta
I
do
love it.
it. I
And
don't
if
know how
you need
much
to, and
longer
it's okay
I got
to
here. Go ahead.
restart, refocus, but and just go ahead and right? You could do all the restart, refocus, just keep restarting, don't give up, right?
I love it. Yes, keep restarting. That is so important because sometimes we think we're too late.
But see,
Some,
when you restart, you're not starting brand new, you're starting from experience now.
hmm
And so
hmm
now I know what's going to work and what's not going to work and what it's going to take me now to get to that finish line, right?
yeah, yes, restarting or picking up where you left off.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like that. Yes.
Yeah, yes. Tunnel vision, focus on what is important. That's right, Coach Deborah. I love it. So we would love for you to provide some tips on being proactive that will assist people in better managing their lives as they strive to build their best lives.
We talked about a couple of them, but being for me and what works is being consistent, right?
Mhm.
And so whatever that thing may be, right? You're gonna start, right? So if it's just one day a week, okay, I'm gonna do this one day a week, I'm gonna do this time, and and do it. So and then the following week, if you want to add another day or another month, add more days on whatever that thing is, but be consistent because people see that consistent. They see that, right, and they want that because now when you're being consistent, you have something to show, and those are results.
Yes, I love that. That is so important to be consistent, and everyone wants that consistency. They want to develop that strength. And they, because a lot of times we want the end result that we see or the thing that we're wishing and praying for, but we don't want to go through the day to day work and the day to day process or the small bites that you have to do day in and day out consistently to get to those end results. No one who has done something great or who've had a great turnaround has done it overnight. They put their head down and they were consistent and they were able to reach their goals. It's easy to say, but it's building and enjoying the journey going through the process.
Building the fountain, when you think about building, right? Building a house, building a car, whatever you're building, that foundation, right, is the hardest piece. That's the piece that's going to keep the whole. And so when we're building, right, we're building a foundation right now, right? And so yes, it's not. I'm on for the nonprofit world. I'm on my third year, right, of being consistent. I'm not where some an organization that's 10 or 20 years, right? But I see the process. You got to trust the process.
Yes, yes. And can you share a little more about those who are struggling with that issue of being consistent? I guess their passion um, to keep a thing going, to stay focused, to the passion for that end result, the thing that they want to accomplish.
Again, you have again tune into self. Tune into again if that's your purpose. You will know when it's your purpose. You're gonna want to do it, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes we might, be doing this thing that we actually have to do, but we really don't want to do it, right? So we're not gonna. For instance, if I have a volunteer and I say, if I hand you this paper and say, I need you to do this and that, right? And you're looking at it, that's not your strength, right? But if I come to you and say, what is your gifts? What is your strengths? It aligns with my mission statement. So yes, I'm going to support you because it aligns with our mission statement. So we're going to get the job done. And so it's the same concept. You know what I'm saying? So you find out your purpose, right?
Hmm.
And just be consistent. For me, um, I'm spiritual, and so I don't move unless I get that confirmation, right? And sometimes that move might just be sitting still. I joke. A lot of people say, "Oh my goodness, Nikki, you're this and that. You're over everywhere." But a lot of times I'm not. I'm sitting still so that I can get that confirmation on what I need to do next.
That's important because if we do have to get still, we have to be quiet, and we have to tune out. Sometimes we have to tune out certain voices. That's part of that process of separating yourself. Well, you have to consecrate yourself to be able to hear the voice of God, and to so we know what direction to go in when it comes to the purpose and what He has for us to fulfill for our life. That is awesome. Nikki, do you have any last nuggets that you would like to drop or share, or any advice for our young adults or parents?
Again, get in tune to know what you're being obedient to what God called you to do. The more you
Mhm.
run from it, the more your life it's going to get hard, right? Like I went through a phase where I was doing what Nikki wanted to do. And I tell people I was like a rat chasing his own tail.
Mhm.
And so if you're at that point in your life where you just keep, what I'm saying, it's a cycle, you're
Mhm.
not getting exactly, what I'm saying, you're not where you want to be and something's missing, right? You can feel it. sit still, ask for, be intentional in your prayers and ask for guidance. You know what I'm saying? Ask for clarity. And then get with like-minded people and be consistent in what you do, you know, and be willing to say, this is not from me. So something that, if it's not, if
Mhm.
it's not fulfilling, if it's not, oh, this is what I like to say, stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
Stay in your own lane. And that's another gym that's working for me. I stay in my own lane. And that's not to say that I can't support you and do this, but is it aligned to what I'm called to do? Is it aligned with what I'm doing right now?
I love that.
So
Yeah.
stay in your own lane.
I love that. Stay in your own lane. Stay true to yourself. That's what.
Be authentic. Yes, we see a lot of that, oh my goodness, him, her, oh my goodness, that's not you. And people can sense that that's not you. You're not being your authentic self.
Yeah, because when you are being your authentic self, it comes out naturally. It comes out more passionately.
Yeah.
Um, you have a skill set up for it, or you're more knowledgeable about it because you focused in that area. So
Oh
you
yeah.
know what you're talking about when you share with people, or you're even able to receive the areas that you need to grow, so you can further reach others and help others.
And
Um,
when we're staying focused on something, I like to tell people, and again, it can go when just stay focused on one or two things. Because a lot of times, especially being a visionary, right? I'm a visionary. I have all this, and it's like, hold on, nope, that's gonna go right in my notebook. And when the time comes, if that's what he's called me to do, it's gonna, but right now it's gonna sit here. I'm gonna stay focused on these two. I'm laser tag, tunnel vision on these two things.
okay, I love that. Well, Nikki, it has been a true pleasure speaking with you today. I've learned so much, and will make sure that you're one of the individuals I stay plugged in and connected to. We do have some things in common as you were sharing more about your platform, Just a Queen with Goals. And you sound like a wonderful person that I can connect with and grow and network with as well. But before we say goodbye, tell everyone again a few quick nuggets about your platform, Just a Queen with Goals, and how they can find you on social media.
Yes, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, Just a Queen with Goals, Empowering Women, nonprofit. We do have a website, which is justaqueenwithgoals.org. Our number is 682-238-0585. I am on social media up under Nikki Jackson. And I would love to stay connected. To Ms. Deborah, thank you again for this opportunity to be on your platform. Um, Thank you.
Well, thank you again, Nikki. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed this. I know I did. I got a lot out of it. Please find Nikki Jackson on her website, justaqueenwithgoals.org. She does some amazing and wonderful things to help women when it comes to mental health, financial literacy, and dealing with trauma. And we know when you touch the life of a woman and help change that around, it's going to impact everyone that she's connected to, especially a mother, especially someone who is head of household. So make sure you plug in and follow her. Thank you again for joining us for our Blueprint for Success. You have been a real pleasure. Nikki, don't go anywhere. And everyone, you all have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.